So the Launchpad X has a custom button. This is a super powerful way to help you take advantage of your DAW, software, or hardware. Pressing the custom button takes us to a page on the Launchpad that lets us choose between 4 different custom pages right here on the right hand side. And these custom pages are, you guessed it, customized by you to fit your specific need. And a quick note, on the Launchpad Pro you actually get 8 custom pages, and on the Launchpad Mini you get 3. To customize our pages, we'll go to components.novationmusic.com. Novation Components is our hub that lets you get deeper access to your Novation products. It's a great way to stay up to date with the latest firmware, download the latest artist packs for synthesizers, and just keep track of what's going on behind the scenes with your products. With my Launchpad X plugged into my computer via USB, I can go ahead and select Launchpad X from the main page. Looking at the top right hand side, I can see my Launchpad has a green check mark, which means it's properly connected. So let's select Create Custom Mode. This takes us to a blank custom page on the web browser. On the right hand side we have widgets. These can be dragged and dropped and rearranged on the virtual Launchpad grid. So in our case, let's add 4 vertical faders. Now let's add a drum grid and a few MIDI CC buttons. I'll just add them. I'll add 4 right up here, why not? Now with our custom layout set up, we can actually select these widgets and change a few settings. We can change, for example, our drum pad section, change the default octave setting as well as the MIDI channel. I'm going to go ahead and set this to 10, which is what most drum machines are set at, and I'm going to leave the octave at 3 and let the first note start at C. Now these CC buttons are really cool. They have a ton of different options as to how they are used or played. We can change what their on and off value is. Also the pad mode. Momentary is on while I hold it, off when I let it go. Toggle will switch between on and off. It's good for muting tracks. And trigger is great for one shots. You can basically play it like a drum. One way I like using them is as a performance tool, so I'm going to go ahead and set them to toggle. That means I can turn on and off different tracks while I play. Another important note about the MIDI CC buttons is make sure that you set their CC values to something different than one another. That way they don't cross messages when you're using them. I'm going to go ahead and do the same for the faders. So it starts on MIDI CC 7. I'll do 8, 9, and 10. So now that we have our custom mode set up, let's rename it. I'll call it ENR Performance. Now let's save it. And you'll see that save as is grayed out. That means you haven't logged in. So I'm going to go ahead and just continue with Facebook. Don't worry, we don't post anything to your profile. And now when I hit save, we can save as ENR Performance or whatever you manage to name it. Boom, there it is. Now let's send it to the Launchpad X and choose which of the custom pages we want it to be sent to. In our case, I'll send it to 1. And bam, it instantly shoots over the custom mode onto the Launchpad X, which will stay there until I change it. Even if I unplug it and move it around, it'll always be stored on the Launchpad X in custom page 1. Now what do we do with these? Well, in most DAWs, you have the ability to map different parameters. And what's nice about this is that you can map your custom page widgets to parameters without disrupting the way your Launchpad works with everything else. For example, we got this sample here with the audio effects rack as well as an auto filter. And I want to map these 4 vertical faders to different parameters within Live. All I got to do on a Mac is hit Command M, and on a Windows hit Control M. Now, it's as easy as selecting what we want mapped, for example our filter frequency, and you touch a fader. Then let's say our reverb amount, touch this fader. Our reverb decay here, and then we'll set a fader to control the EQ low. Once you've done that, you can see all the MIDI mappings that you have populate over here on the left hand side. And now let's say we want to do our drum rack. So I'm going to hit Command M, open up and expand our drum rack, hit Command M again, and now I'm going to select the mute for our kick drum and just press one of our momentary buttons. Boom. And we'll do the same for the snare and maybe the hi-hats. And this one as well. Hit Command M and you're out of it. Easy. And this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to ways to utilize the custom pages on your Launchpad X, Launchpad Mini, or your Launchpad Pro. So go have a look at your setup and visualize what parameters you'd love to have right at your fingertips.